Oh yeah, this is going to be a good one. I'm going to give you guys 4 actionable tips that you can take to increase the rate at which your Forex account grows. This video is going to be targeted towards people who already have a Forex strategy that is profitable, or they have deemed it profitable, they've proven it in some way. Or if you do not have a profitable system, make sure you hit that subscribe button just so that you can see I'm going to be slowly releasing different profitable methods, including one swing trading method that I'm actually going to release this week or next week whenever I get around to it. So first of all, congratulations, you have found a profitable trading strategy, or I hope that you're very close and you're watching this just in preparation for when you do finally lock in that final little bit of whatever you need to figure out that profit there to be a little bit more consistent. I noticed a lot of you just fluctuating a little bit, something like this. This is going to be a great video for you either way. I'm going to show you 4 actionable methods that you can take right now. One of them is going to be a little bit harder to implement, but a couple of them are actually quite easy. And it's actually going to increase your speed, the speed at which your account grows. Let's jump into it. So the first method is you will actually trade more. Now this is going to depend on whether or not you are actually able to trade more. If it's a strictly swing trading strategy that does not work on the lower time frames, then this will not apply to you and you probably want to skip ahead. But I would really advise you to back test your strategies, and I can show you guys how to back test something like that if you do want to see how that's done actually on TradingView and how I back tested to make sure that my strategies were profitable before I actually started live testing them. We can jump into that at some point. But you will need to go in and backtest on smaller time frames and see if your strategy is profitable on these smaller time frames, because you're going to see these play out much more on the smaller time frames, and you can do these maybe on the 1 minute, on the 5 minute if you're already trading on the 15 minute, and you're just going to jam out a lot more trades. Now this is quite obvious when you think about it, because if you're on average able to profit 1% per trade, and you start trading 3 trades a day instead of 1 a day, you're now going to be making 3 times as much. Now, it sounds kind of obvious, but you haven't really maybe considered that you can actually just go in and start testing the exact same strategy on smaller time frames. Now the only problem is going to be that you are going to be able to handle that speed of trading. Whether or not you can do that, I don't know. It's completely up to you, but I do suggest that you do look at these smaller time frames and look at more pairs as another option, because the more you trade with a profitable system, the better you should do. That being said, make sure you're not over trading and putting yourself into this negative headspace, because that will really bring you into a drawdown and do the exact opposite of what we're doing. The second option, and I really do not advise this in a lot of my other videos, but it really is an option. I'm going to tell you how you can actually do it. I'll show you in a second here on my screen. It's going to be risk more. So I'm really advising everyone to risk 2% per trade. That being said, if you want to make more, you're going to risk more. And that's not going to work for everyone, and it's going to have to depend on your win rate and how much you're winning per trade. So let's dive into how we can actually check if we're actually able to risk more. So up on the screen here, I just have a little blurb about risk management that I wrote about in a book that I wrote. But this is just a screen cap that I found somewhere, and it's basically outlining how much you're going to lose in each trade if your account is, for example, $10,000, and you're risking 2%, 1%, 5%, and basically what your drawdown will be after 15 losses, 10 losses, 5 losses, whatever. And what we're going to have to basically figure out is the likelihood of your system to bring you into these really negative drawdowns and how bad it's going to be for you to come back out of it. So if you have an incredibly high win rate, then it's going to be more okay for you to risk higher amounts, because you know that it's going to be unlikely for you to hit 15 losses in a row. Alternatively, if you only have a 30% win rate, then we generally want to keep our risk quite low, because it's very easy for you to go on these major losing streaks, 10 plus losing streaks. So if we jump over, I have an equity curve. I just searched this up here on Google, and let's say I typed in something already. I typed in $1,000 and you have a 30% win rate, and let's assume it's a profitable system, so you're winning 3 to 1 of the time. Actually, with 30% you're going to need a little bit more. Let's say you're winning 4 to 1. So your wins are 4 times as big. That way you're actually going to have a profitable system with a 30% win rate on average. And number of trades, number of lines, it doesn't really matter. And let's say you're currently risking 1% per trade. Let's start that simulation. So you can see the equity growth on average is increasing over time. Now, you know, after 100 trades, you're at a 80% profit with 1%. Now, this is a really good profitable system. I think actually 3 to 1 might have worked fine. I'm not sure. It might have been profitable there. That being said, it doesn't really matter. So what you can do is, if you have a 30% win rate, then it's going to be really risky to increase this to 5%, because currently our maximum drawdown is 20%. So if we increase this to 5% per trade, then you're going to have to be able to handle these 60% drawdowns. And generally, you might think that you can handle something like that, but usually people start panicking after about 20% of a drawdown. So you need to figure out for your own case what you're going to be able to handle. Mind you, the actual average now after 100 trades is doubled the account. No, not doubled the account. It's 10 times the account after 100 trades. And so it's extremely profitable compared to the previous version. So you can find a balance here for you. And if you just plug in your numbers into something like this, let's say maybe we want to do 2% now. Okay, 30% maximum drawdown. That seems a little bit more fair for me, considering I don't need to follow any Forex challenges or something like this. I just use my own capital, then that's fine. And you can see, okay, I've tripled my account now after 100 trades. Okay, that's much better. I'm happy with that. I'll show you an example of an equity curve that I take for the strategy that I'm currently using. And you can see I just plugged in $10,000. I have about a 50% win rate, 48, a little bit less. And my wins are about 2.5 times my losses. So I risk 1%. Then over, basically how I've laid this out is each line represents a month. Each line represents a month with 50 trades in the month. So I'm trading about 2 trades a day-ish, 2 trades a day-ish. And on average, I should end the month with a 30% growth with that. And mind you, that's obviously if I'm not making any mistakes. This is how my system works well, if I'm in the right mindset and I'm doing things properly, and the markets are being nice to me. This is how my system works well. And my maximum drawdown, I'm comfortable with a 14% drawdown. That's okay for me. And then on the flip side, this is a 4-year graph. So it was 50 iterations over 4 years is 1,600 iterations, 1% risk, and you'll 11 times your account with similar drawdown, 8% this time. So as you can see, I could alter that around a little bit. I like to keep the drawdown quite low at 1% risk, so that's just how I choose to play out. So the next thing you can do is actually increase your win rate, and I told you guys there was going to be one that's quite difficult to do. And increasing your win rate is probably the most difficult thing you can do, but I will give you a quick tip on how you might be able to do that. So I use this software called Edgewonk, and there's a link in the description. It's a journaling software. It is a paid single time journal, and I have found it very, very helpful. It has increased my win rate, and it also has increased the amount that I win when I do win. And it's simply due to the fact that I'm able to see which situations my trades perform better in. So I will notice that sometimes the trades that are in the trend are more likely to profit under this scenario over this scenario, and I can't be very specific because you guys aren't going to understand due to my strategy, the wording I use, but I can be basically as general as that. Is I can say under different situations I know when the strategy is going to work better or worse, and then I can cut out those worse performing situations, and then my win rate goes up in terms of in after that fact. Now, if you don't have this journal, you can use something like Excel. It's just going to take you a little bit of work to fill out all the data, and you are going to have to actually use some sort of calculations to figure out which situations work better than others, and then cut the losers from your strategy. Now, the fourth thing that you can do is you can actually increase the amount that you win when you do win, and this kind of goes hand in hand with the previous one. It is possible. Edgewonk does help you in this sense. They tell you, okay, if you didn't take profits, would you have been more profitable if you just let your trade ride to the initial take profit? And generally that's what I found about myself, is I was taking profits along the way, and it was smarter for me, and that's what they told me, to just ignore my trade pretty much. Just let it go into the final take profit or close to it, and then just start cutting off really quickly at the end there. And that's what's working for me ideally. So that's another way that it's helped me out. But you guys can kind of figure this out for yourself too. Generally, you're going to want to not touch your trades. If you do kind of know what you're doing, if you do kind of know where the price will eventually go, then generally I can say it's best to not touch your trade at all. You can maybe take one small profit over 50% of the way there, but just let the trades ride as long as they can. And you can move your stop forward after we start breaking levels, things like this, of course, but usually it's best to just let your trades go. And then your wins are going to actually be slightly bigger, and then your account's going to grow a little bit faster. It's the same idea. You're going to be able to plug in these numbers in the equity curve thing that I showed you there earlier, and as your numbers grow, keep plugging them in and then see how fast you're going to grow your account. It's going to be super fun. I hope you guys do well. And if you guys want to learn some more later on, please hit that subscribe button. I got plenty more strategies. I got plenty more mindset stuff coming out. I got plenty more funny stuff. That this is not really a funny video, but I will come up with something funny at some point. Also, join the Discord. I post the live streams in there so that they're actually hidden from the channel, so you can see the Discord pings, and it will tell you when I'm going live.
Listen.